everybody. I'm Peter Grant with Zaner Metals in Denver. My colleague is with me, as always, Peter Thomas in Chicago.
Welcome to downtown Chicago, the business district. We are in the financial section, and we are here working away on our tornado cart, helping all our people hedge their risk.
You can't fool me, Pete, because that's not the trading floor behind you. But I understand you're going.
There is no trading floor, my friend.
You
It's
can go.
all gone.
You can go. You're going into the office next week, right? That's what I hear.
I'm going in and mask on and gloves and
Good
just as
man.
comfy as could be.
Right on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it'll be good to see all the hubbub behind you once again instead of the
Yeah, I
blank
miss the
wall.
Merc. I miss the floor. I miss I miss our desk. I mean, we have an international currency, international agriculture. We do all crude oil, and then of course our metals desk, and we're talking to refiners and recyclers all day long, and I miss it. I miss the action. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about last week, as we like to do. Gold was largely unchanged, but it did eke out a close back above $1,700. I'm
Right.
pleased to say it's definitely holding its own. I noticed that a lot of people continue to talk about $1,800 gold, and I noticed that a nice symmetrical triangle is formed on the gold chart, and if
Yeah.
you, based on a measuring objective, if we get an upside breakout, that sort of jibes with the 1800 level. What do you
Well,
think?
you got to say if you're a technician and to put it bluntly, even the Titanic had a great charting room. So
Oh, okay.
I mean,
You're calling me the captain of the.
are we going to 1800 or not? I mean, let's put it this way: the triangle, from a technician standpoint, is a very powerful tool, and it is pointing to 1800.
Right.
So the possibility exists.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I am the captain of the Titanic. I love it.
Just move that deck chair, baby.
All
You'll be
right.
all right.
Start the band.
That's it.
Yeah. So gold generally looks pretty good. Um, the silver market was very impressive, actually. Closed up a little bit over 3%
I agree with you.
last week.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and
Silver really put in a good day, and demand wasn't bad either. So I think it's just catching up a little bit is all.
well, that's exactly it. Because if you look at the gold silver ratio chart, it's down
Right.
to about 109 right now, and that's off of the 128 or so high
Yeah, I
from
remember.
several weeks ago.
Yeah.
So silver definitely playing some catch up, and I think that is typically a pretty good harbinger for the metals complex in general when silver is sort of leading the way. So I'm encouraged.
And the other thing is that we're going to have big consumption coming into solar panel, all of the energy systems that use solar are going to be demanding silver usage. So that should be flooding into the market in the next 30 days.
Right.
Yep.
Platinum, pretty steady.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it closed up about 1% last week, which is a good sign. We've seen sort of a convergence of the 9, 20, and 50-day moving averages. But what's
Right.
got me troubled is we've got a little bit of a double top on this correction, and so I'm a
I
little bit worried about the
I
platinum
mean,
market short
I
term.
saw it. I told one of our guys that does catalytic converters and recovers that metal. He said, "What do you think?" I said, "It feels a little heavy. I don't know why. It shouldn't, but it does. And I
Yeah.
like the level it's at for consumption. Our guys that make those little diodes for spark plugs, that they use a lot of platinum, and they're buying it pretty hard here. So I'm very uncertain why this market is acting skittish.
Right. And perhaps to that end, it's not perhaps surprising that Palladium was down a little bit over 4%. It was the 7th consecutive weekly lower close in Palladium,
Right.
and that raises some concerns as well.
Well, for
So
the thing is too that platinum palladium are both industrial as well as precious metals, similar in a way to silver, and demand has really gone down. Just, I mean, you look at car sales at down 80% almost everywhere. China down 90%. Catalytic converter usage is down. Period. And
right.
it's feeling the pressure. So let's be pragmatic here. Guys that are buying it to use it are the demand is not there right now. We're seeing them buy out into the future because they know at some point it's going to get better and they're going to need product. But on the nearby, on the spot, which is what we play in, we're seeing a little less.
Yeah, I would agree on the vulnerability here.
Yeah,
We did break the 61.8% retracement level of the big rebound in
and it was a big
palladium,
one, right?
and so now it's definitely on the defensive.
Yeah.
However, copper
Oh,
looking really good, right?
well,
So
here's the thing. I was supposed to speak at the World Copper Conference. I was on a dais. I was scheduled for that, giant meeting, and I was really fortunate enough to have been chosen to speak to all the copper miners, copper producers, copper mine owners, things of that nature. And I was going to address the coronavirus issue and how it affected mining and miners and whatnot. And of course, that got called off.
it's
And I
okay,
looked,
Pete, because I didn't get your deck together for that speech anyways.
I know
I
you were
was
so,
just,
but
I've been a
you were
little
so
busy.
kind to offer. I want to say that the way you jumped in there, going, I know the virus is stopping this. Pete, let me make your
I'll
speech
make you
deck for
the
that. Yeah,
speech deck of
you were
all times, my
you,
friend.
you were the beast.
Charts and
But here's the
everything.
thing, guy. Copper usage is down to 1971 as far as consumption goes. That's a big number. We're seeing right now product is just not being used, even though, and this is important, the mines are closed. Chile, all of Copper One mine and Copper Two mine, the two biggest producers, are closed. They're talking about getting everything rolling about the end of the month, which is not that far away. But for the moment, we are not seeing the Peru, Chile, all the big mines are either behind in production or not producing at all. So we talked about this, Pete, a couple of shows. We have made sure to point out the yin and the yang of this market, and that is, we're producing a lot of product up until the virus came, and then we had a lot less on hand, but they're not dipping into the pile. They're not the recyclers are basically the ones picking up the slack in this right
Yeah, so copper closed up 4.4% last week,
now. A
closed above
tremendous week,
the 9, the 20, and the 50-day moving average,
right?
set a 7-week high.
Yeah,
It's looking really, really good. And copper has a tendency to disappoint us from time to time, just when you
yeah.
think it's going higher, it goes
Right,
down. So
Copper always reminds me of that Roadrunner cartoon when the guy's hanging onto the anvil going off of the
yes,
cliff. I mean, when it drops 50,000 points without a tick up, you kind of go, what happened? I mean, it
I'll
can
tell
get
you.
crazy.
Yeah, I'll tell you though that the sort of the next technical level I'm watching on the upside is the 100-day moving average, which is just above 250.
And 250 would at 250, I'm palms out all day long. I mean, I've got our
That
producers, the
means he's
guys
a
that are
seller.
That's where I was going. Thank you. So when you go palms out, you're going sold. And at 250, if the momentum it slows down for an iota, you want to start thinking about being on the tornado platform, going sell, 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 and going out a ways because more than likely you will see some retracement.
Right.
Hmm.
So the other big thing that happened last week was the big non-farm payrolls
Yes.
report for the month of April. And good news, Pete. It was only we only lost 20,500,000 jobs in
And the
April.
market rallied. I was just sitting
Well,
there going, I saw it and I went, oh my God. And then I watched it uptick and I went, is this happening? And the
it's
next thing I know, we're
yeah.
330 higher off of that number.
It's
Are
all
you
about
kidding me?
degrees of ugliness because the
I,
expectations was 22.75 million.
baby, hit every branch going down. That was so ugly. It
Yeah,
was just brutal. But obviously the market is saying what we're thinking, which is a couple of more weeks, we're going to be back to making money. And oh, by the way, all that business that went to China is leaving. And they have all kinds of tax plans that they're ready to open and say, come on back, guys. We're going to make you very, very comfortable. And hopefully it's going to happen. I mean, it
yeah.
could. I mean, it's about time.
And so kind of a couple of interesting things. I'll tell you that the unemployment rate came in at 14.7%. That's up from the March number of 4.4%. And that's a horrible number.
Yeah,
But it's better than the 16.8% unemployment rate that the market was expecting. Also, during the survey, like 78% of respondents said that they were only on temporary furlough, that they were only
that's interesting.
temporarily laid off. So there
Okay,
is a sense of optimism even in the employment
I'm
market.
I'm feeling that too. I'm
Yeah,
feeling it too. Yeah. I mean, I talk to people and they're all like, I want to get to work, and I asked this one guy today. I go, they're paying you a lot of money to sit at home. He says, that's not what I do. I don't get paid to sit at home. I make things.
right.
And the whole attitude is like, come on, let us go. Take the
Yeah,
leash off. We want to start creating things. And I agree with you 100%.
yeah. So the other 85% of the population who's apparently still working, um, they saw hourly earnings surge 4.7%. And that's an
It's,
interesting number when you first look
that
at it.
is. Yeah.
But the reality is that the people who were hit hardest by this were sort of the hourly workers, lower wage hourly
Yeah.
workers,
Yeah.
and
They've been
so
hurt. They've
yeah,
been
and
hurt hard.
so yeah, and
Yeah.
so I look
I mean,
forward
I
to
mean,
my bartenders and
tip
waiters and
big.
waitresses.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, when they come
Absolutely.
back, take
Or
care of
order
your
the
people.
veal and tip big. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just,
I'm
I,
glad you said that because I feel the same way.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as
So
we
I think we've covered pretty much everything. I'm glad that we covered copper as well as we did because there's so much going on in it.
let's look forward this week just real quick. On
Sure.
Tuesday we have CPI coming out. Minus 0.8% is what the median expectations are.
Okay. What's
Uh, P-
PPI?
PPI on Wednesday minus 0.5% is the
0.5.
expectation, and
Okay.
then probably the bigger number will be retail sales on Friday. Uh, Minus 11.5% is the consensus.
Most of the
So
shops are closed. I mean, come on.
yeah.
At 11, I'm happy. Believe me.
Well, that goes to sort of my point about
Yeah.
non-farm payrolls is
Right.
it's degrees of ugly. It's what's
Yep.
built into the market versus the actual number that comes out. And so we'll be watching all of that closely, obviously, and to see what side of expectations the real number comes in at. Um,
All right.
so my kind of consensus continues to be that we have massive demand destruction. Uh, India gold imports were
Oh, I think they're the worst they've
50
ever been.
kilos. That's like
I
down
I sell
99.9%
50
year on year.
kilos in an afternoon. I'm bigger than India. I never
Yeah,
thought I could say that. I
at
mean,
least in
it's
the month of April, you're bigger than
yeah.
India.
I,
And we shouldn't laugh because the
uh,
reason this is happening is it's a tragedy. But but offsetting that demand destruction that we're seeing, I think continues to be very strong safe haven buying. The CBO is estimating that the budget deficit for 2020 is going to be $3.7 trillion. That's
I saw that.
by far and away a new record. The previous record was 1.4 trillion
Yeah.
during the financial crisis.
Yeah, we've almost tripled it. It's a staggering number.
The national debt is on the verge of cracking 25 trillion.
20. Yeah. What now? How close are we to your magic number?
We're still pretty far away. In fact, the Fed balance sheet only nudged up 65 billion this past week
Not even
to
worth
6.7
petty cash
trillion.
box. You open that
I
up, you know,
remain
boom.
optimistic that 12 trillion.
See,
I don't know if that's
okay.
optimism or what, but
Yeah.
I still think we're going a lot higher. Here's an interesting thing, though, Pete.
Mm,
Fed fund futures, for the first time ever, are projecting negative interest rates next year.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that, and they actually said next year to the end of next year. So it's more like a year and a half they're projecting it out, which I was like, whoa,
yeah.
and they said they saw no reason to change the direction of that at all. And as
That's
far as they made it known that they're very comfortable with that number.
right. There was a lot of Fed speak last week to that
Yeah,
effect, that they anticipated that
right.
interest rates were going to be near zero. I
Yeah,
suppose that could be on either side of zero, right?
I see.
And there's a lot of Fed speak out this week too on the calendar, so we'll be watching those Fed governors pretty closely to see what they say. But
Well,
the market
Japanese
is now,
governors have been doing a little chatting, and they're on the same path. Nothing changed. So
yeah,
I don't see any. I think we're now in lockstep with Asia. So I
right.
think
There there
I
was
don't see. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
there was an interesting article in the FT last week that was sort of
That would
saying
be
that.
the Financial Times, that
Oh, sorry.
rag
Yes.
that's in yellow that you see
Yeah.
on the stand. Yeah.
That countries may start getting um, uh, suspicious about other countries' creditworthiness, and
Oh
and and
my.
perhaps bring gold back into the equation to settle balance of the payments. I don't know if that will happen. I can certainly see
Not
a lot
happening.
of countries being
Yeah.
suspicious about the creditworthiness of certain
Yes.
other countries,
Oh, yeah.
maybe even
And as
ours.
well they should be. I mean, we owe a small pittance, a little bag of shells there,
Yeah, like
but
25
I mean,
trillion.
$1 trillion. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a chunk.
These are
But
all
I mean,
great reasons for the central
buying
banks to
gold.
own gold. And if
And
it's good enough for the central banks, my friend,
it's good enough for our watchers. It's good enough for everyone. Get some gold. You know what? It doesn't carry coronavirus. I mean, they won't confiscate it to burn it like they're doing in China. All right.
rub your
Anybody that
rub your
has
gold with
hard
silver
assets, yeah, that's it. That'll work every time.
every
A
time.
little pixie dust, and boy, it's all set to go.
All right, my friend, I think it's time to wrap it up.
I think it is,
Everybody have a great week.
absolutely. It's been great being back. Nice seeing you this Friday. Stay in touch. Watch for our Twitters. Follow us, and please give us a like.